Hey everybody, this is the Sliders Review, and welcome to a special edition of Asian and Pacific Islander Heritage Month. And I'm here today to talk to you about the three women of Flat 3. Also, they appeared in Friday Night Bites, and they also appeared in Creamery. So, I've talked about them before when I reviewed the show Creamery. Go watch that. And this is how I discovered these three women because I never knew they existed. And so, when I was watching Creamery, I remember I was on Hulu and I'm just flipping through stuff on Hulu and I came across their show. And at first I was gonna pass it by. And the reason for that is because, front and center you see three Asian women. And the reason why I was gonna pass it up is because one thing I've always wanted to do more in the terms of the entertainment business is watch more Asian content. I want to watch more Asian movies, TV shows, and cartoons. Only problem with that is that only with the cartoons, they are dubbed in English. See, I hate when I have to watch something and I don't know what somebody is saying because I hate reading subtitles and stuff. When I'm watching something and I have to read subtitles, my eyes are glued to whatever they're saying, and people talk so fast that the words are constantly moving. So therefore, I'm not even looking to see what they're doing. And it's very, very, very frustrating. So I would prefer things to be for them to speak English. But one thing I also hate when live action isn't English dub. It's so annoying when sometimes what they say don't match up with their mouth movements. And it's very distracting. And so because of that, I'm unable to watch a lot of foreign content. I remember one time I wanted to watch this one Indian comedy that was on Amazon, and they speak both English and Indian on the show, but they'll start talking in English, then 5 seconds later they'll start talking in India, and then 5 seconds later they talking English again, and it's I couldn't deal with it and stuff. And so because of that, I'm missing out on so much Asian content. There have been some movies that I have watched that are, Mandarin, they speak in Mandarin and they're subtitles. So what I'll do is I'll just watch what's on screen, but I don't read the subtitles. Therefore, I don't know what the world they are saying. I just watch what they're doing and stuff. And it's not enjoyable like that. And so because of that, I was gonna pass them up, but then I think I saw a white guy also in the picture. I'm like, why is he white? And then I realized, oh wait, this film's in New Zealand. They speak English there and stuff. And so I decided to watch it. And I really enjoyed Creamery. So then I wanted to see, who these ladies were and, what other stuff they was in. And then I found out they had a production company called flat3 Productions. And they had a web series called Flat 3. And it's on YouTube and you can watch it. And so I did. And it was a really cool comedy. And so the comedy, a lot of their projects are co-created. Where is her name? Oh wait, I'm on the wrong person. Where is Rosalind at? Here she is. No, not Rosalind, but Roseanne Lane. And so she normally co-creates a lot of stuff for them and stuff. Creamery. She's also extremely famous in the movie directing and creating business and stuff. I believe she's highly regarded as being the most famous Asian Kiwi director and creator there is. And so this series is also co-created, and it stars that of JJ Fong, who plays Jessica. I don't know what JJ's real name is. She won't tell nobody. Paulina Lau, I think that's how you say her last name, and she plays Paulina. And then there's Ali Ah, and she plays Lee. And so the series, it came out in 2013, and that's 8 years ago and stuff. And then after that ended, after 3 seasons, they created Friday Night Bites. and that was created 5 years ago. Then they did like creamery and stuff. They do their own individual stuff as well, but like um, but sometimes they partner up and stuff and do things like this. And it was really refreshing to see their show because like their show like plain and simple like this Asian representation is like, because the thing about the entertainment business is like, when the entertainment business won't like, hire you and stuff, you gotta hire yourself. And I believe I read somewhere that the reason why they created this was because they don't see themselves on TV, not necessarily themselves playing people, but like their race and everything. And I've talked about this before, like in many countries that have Asian people in it, where Asians are the minority, you don't really see them represented on television. And if you do, it's a white person playing an Asian person. And if you do, they play a very goofy, silly mockery of Asian culture, or they're always playing some type of kung fu type thing. And so you never really get to see that many Asian people on television, whether it be America, Canada, places in Europe like England, Ireland, and then of course, New Zealand and stuff. And New Zealand does have Asian people. Mostly they're from Chinese descent. And I haven't watched that much Kiwi stuff, but I did watch Filthy Rich, and Filthy Rich only has like one Asian person on there and one Asian person only. It's predominantly white, and there's a few Maori people on there. And so you really don't get to see that much representation and stuff like that on television. And so they feel like, hey, look, man, you ain't gonna hire us. We're just gonna like put our stuff out and show people what we got. And I appreciate that so much. They did things for themselves. And they created a very funny series. And basically, it's like, in my opinion, it's like Broad City meets SNL. And it's about three women who live in an apartment. And so, like, Lee appears to be the youngest who's in college, and she wants to get away from her mom. So she befriends like Jessica online, and then they become roommates. Paulina already lives there. And basically, they just go through the struggles of everyday life. Jessica struggles to be an actress, and she has to take all these odd jobs which she doesn't like, and it kind of degrade her. She's also kind of the slutty one of the group, and she's the one who will mess around with somebody else's boyfriend and stuff. But other than her sister calls her slutty and stuff. But it's the way they set up situations in the show that are very awkward, because it's a different way of telling comedy. One of the interesting things, cool things about streaming is that you get to see a different perspective of like dramas and comedy and action from like other countries. And it's very refreshing to see their take on like humor and everything, which is very eye-popping to me and a bit confusing at times, because I'm not used to their style of comedy. Because in America we have we have like basically three different formats and stuff. But I've never quite seen a format like this, especially with Jessica. Whenever something bad happens to her, she kind of gives this awkward like pause for like a long time, and you don't know what she's gonna do. You think she's gonna freak out, but she does and stuff. And so then you have like is it Lee? I think her name is, yeah, Lee. She is like the youngest. She's trying to be like an artist. She also like has like, she doesn't have self-confidence in her body. She's always making like jokes about like her boobs being small and everything, and not being able to get this and that because of the way she looks. And she deals with a lot of like low self-esteem when it comes to like her appearance and stuff like that. And she also struggles in the workforce and like the dating life as well. Paulina, on the other hand, she mostly struggles in that other relationship. She's dating this one guy for the longest time, and they're not quite sure what they are, and then her ex shows up. Then she ends up making friendship in the most awkward way with like this lesbian woman, when they're both in the bathroom stalls and their feet, oh no, I think an orange rolls over, and she gives it to her, and it's like this weird cutesy woosy kind of way that she gives it to her that makes the woman think she likes her and stuff. But then they just end up being friends, but her friend is very weird. But she's the more like stern one, the one who's a bit more judgmental and stuff. She gets really pissed at Jessica when she finds out Jessica messed around with her ex. Like I said before, Jessica will mess around with a person's ex whenever she's like upset and stuff like that. And Jessica even like, slept with a man to like get an acting job, and it made her feel very terrible afterwards, even though other people in her circle was telling her, just do it to get that role and stuff. And one of the great things about this, not only do you get to see Asian representation as the main cast, but also the background characters. Many of them are Asian and stuff. And in fact, there's even at least 5 different Power Rangers who appeared on this series, which is really cool. I didn't see that many Mari people or like black people on the show. But one of the things I love about this series is the intro. It is so addictive. It's Jessica and it's Paulina. They're sitting in a chair outside dancing, and Lee comes running in and kind of does like jazz hands and stuff. And it's just a very addictive like intro, and it changes every episode. And in the very last episode, because this lasted for like 18 episodes, at the very, very end, I was not expecting this to happen. Like, Lee's stuff is getting auctioned off, her art and everything, and she's happy because she's finally like succeeding in life in the business world. And then all of a sudden, the intro pops out with everybody in the background. I'm just like, I was not expecting that and stuff in the Christmas special. And then once that ended, they did Friday Night Bites, and I kind of like Friday Night Bites a bit more. It's more wackier and crazier and stuff. And it's basically just a continuation of like that show, but way more different and just more like crazy and stuff. And of course, they did Creamery, which I've already talked about that. Go find that channel, and not channel, but that video. And so like I just wanted to give a shout out to like those 3 because it's like there's such, in my opinion, like an inspiration, like when people like don't give you a hand, you gotta put your foot forward and do things on your own. Wait, I think you say Paulina's name, her last name like Lau, and I think you say Allie's last name like you. I don't know what I said before. There was even this really interesting episode where the 3 ladies were absent for the entire episode, and they was recast with like white actresses. This made their fans go nuts on YouTube thinking it was permanent. Why would people think this is permanent? I do not understand. It's pretty obvious. This was just like an experiment and stuff, and the reason why like is all the background characters are still the same and recurring characters. It's just the 3 leads that were replaced by white women, 2 from Power Rangers. The third, I have no idea who she is. And this was supposed to give a different perspective and a different take on the series. If this was like a series written by like say like a white person and starring white people, it would have been more serious and more dramatic and stuff, as opposed to their comedic, quirky takes that they take and everything in the show. And some people liked it, some people didn't. I enjoyed it, and I also enjoyed it for the experiment it was, because it does give you a different perspective and a different take on something. If this would have been just a traditional white series, which is something you constantly see on television and stuff. And it's really interesting to see 3 white actresses in the lead, because it's like, because then you think to yourself, oh wait, this was an Asian like show, and there were 3 Asian leads and everything, and you don't really see that on television because all you ever see are like just white people and stuff. And it was really like, it makes you more refreshing and more inspiring knowing that it was 3 Asian leads on the show and stuff, and it shows that they can do whatever a white star can do and stuff. Happy Asian and Pacific Islander month, everybody. Alrighty, well, I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.